What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Unsolicited with Sam and Jordyn. I am Sam. This is Jordyn. I think this is the longest break that we've taken since creating this podcast.
100%.
I am lost without you. Literally in like a darkness that I've never been before. But we're back! And I'm a wife!
That's what I was going to say. I was like, Sam is now officially a wife. How do you feel? I cannot wait. Me and Sam have this is probably the longest me and Sam have even really gone without actively talking too.
Yeah.
I
sent me a couple texts while I was away, but
yes, but not extensive enough. But I want to hear everything. I want to hear all about your honeymoon. We cannot wait to tell you guys about Sam's special day. And she just asked me, she was like, I want to hear about your thoughts as a guest. I won't dive into all details yet. I'll let you take the reins, but I just want to say it felt like the most perfect day. And since I've known Sam, her and Michael were obviously together for forever. She was talking about her wedding while we were at NFL Films, and it was just I remember telling Brian, I was like, this is everything that she said she wanted, and just watching it come to life. I cried. I'm 50-50 of if I cry at weddings.
Yeah,
I sobbed your entire wedding. I was sitting next to a pregnant woman, and me and her were crying the same amount. She looks over at me. She's like, is this ever going to end? I was like, no, I cannot stop crying.
Yeah. And fun fact, shout out to Julie, the pregnant woman. They are having a girl. We just found out. Yes. They had their gender reveal this past weekend. So
I'm so excited for them.
I know, me too. Shout out Mike and Julie. They watch the podcast. You guys rock.
My table mates, I love you both.
I put Jordyn at a very specific table so that she would be with these people because they watch us on the podcast. And literally so we had a thing the night before where we were just hanging out, and we just had it in the hotel lobby. And I just had whoever was in the hotel at the time just to come down and hang out. And Mike and Julie were one of them. And they came down and they were like, is Jordyn here? And I was like, no. And they were like, damn it.
No, I loved hanging out with them so much. Julie, I had actually already met at your
shower.
Yeah, your bridal shower.
Right.
But it was overall perfect. Yeah. I literally went from a wedding in Philadelphia, Ubered home, slept in South Jersey, woke up in South Jersey, and drove to Long Island for Sam. So it was a wedding-filled weekend.
Okay, so to start at the beginning of the ceremony,
yes,
when we practiced, I went up to the officiant and I was like, listen, I don't want anybody having their phones out for this. And she was like, totally fine, I get it. And I was like, yeah, and there's gonna be a 30 seconds where everyone can take their phones out, take their pictures, and then put them away. And I was like, and one more thing, my friend Jordyn will be allowed to have full phone access. And she was like, do you want me to say that? And I was like, yes. So at the ceremony, the officiant came out and was like, everyone put your phones away unless your name is Jordyn.
No, and it was so funny because Sam told me, she was like, I'm going to tell the officiant.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be announced, and I was stressing because I was like, I want to be perfect. I didn't want to stand in anyone's way, but I wanted to get some initial shots for you to have, even though you got your pictures back so quickly anyway.
I know, but I was able to look at it the next day.
Yeah. So, but I was freaking out about this. Brian was like, be calm. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. And then the officiant said that, and he was like, oh, he was like, are you ready? He was like, this is a big deal. Because it was announced,
Because the reason why I wanted her to say it was because I didn't want you to pull your phone out and then have someone be like, hey, they said no phones.
Yeah,
and then
no, I totally get it.
The bride said, and I just didn't want that. I was like, no need to put her into more of a situation, which apparently I put you in a situation anyway.
No, I put myself, you know me. I make myself anxious over every detail about everything.
But you were standing in the back so that you could see everyone coming in.
Yes.
And obviously everyone was going in, and my dad and I were the last. Hi, Brian. My friend, my new friend. Brian and I are tight now.
Yeah, they're besties.
But,
No, oh, okay.
It's fine, whatever. But anyway, so I'm about to walk down the aisle with my dad. We're having like a heartfelt moment, and all I see is Jordyn. It's like, oh my God, like this is really happening. Like I was so surprised that that was going on. So I was like about to literally the first person I saw apart from my father before I walked down the aisle to my future husband was Jordyn.
That is the greatest thing that I've ever heard.
And I literally said it too, and I looked at my dad and went, "It's Jordyn." And he was just like, "Oh." And I was like, "Yeah, no, that's it. It's just Jordyn." Like he was just like he was looking at me like,
He was probably so flustered and nervous too.
Oh
He was
yeah,
probably like, "Okay."
we were
Like,
like whispering things to each other and like making each other cry before we even walked down the aisle. And
your
then like
dad
as I was about to walk down, all of a sudden it like everything hit me all at once. It's like obviously the day I was like, okay, I'm getting married. I'm so excited. I was having a good day. Like we had some issues, but we smoothed them all out. But
what kind of issues? Anything crazy?
so one of them was that the groomsman lost his suit. He FedExed his suit because he lived on the other side of the country and FedExed his suit across and it never showed up. So I didn't know this. And
Thank God you
my
didn't know
mother-in-law's over
this.
there laughing. But so and the thing was they were trying to keep it a secret from me. So we're taking photos and all of a sudden I heard something the other groomsmen will be here soon or something along those lines. And I went,
Yeah.
what other groomsmen? I was like, who's not here? Because I didn't see anybody. I literally got like whisked away to a room. I put my dress on. They wanted to hide me from Michael before our first look, like that whole situation. And then when I walked downstairs, I like glimpsed at a few people and I like waved. And then like we had to keep going. We had like a
Yeah.
time crunch, to like get all these pictures done. And we're walking and I hear that. And Michael and I are taking photos at this point. Like we had our first look and everything, which went really cute. He cried. It was a very, very sweet moment. But we're like holding hands and he was like, walk away. So he was getting like these shots from us from behind of us, like holding hands. And I looked at him and I was like, who's not here? And he was like, don't worry about it. And I was like, no, I want to know who's not here. Like, and then of course my anxiety stricken mind was like, is he okay? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, did like, because people were drinking the night before. I'm like, is he hungover? Like, is he
Yeah.
sick? Like, what's up? He was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I was like, Michael, don't, no, just tell me what's going on. And he goes, okay, but don't freak out. Everything's fine. It's under control. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, Nick's suit is not here. He's on his way to Men's Warehouse right now to go get another one. And I was like, and I literally, they say to be like chill on your wedding day. I had zero thoughts. I literally went, okay. And he was like, okay. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Freak out about one of his groomsmen suits? I'm like, so he walks in a freaking jeans and a t-shirt. Okay, whatever. Like, I was like, I don't care. And there
Yes.
was a few other things that were going on. We had some issues with like the buses. Like that was a whole situation too, which I can't even get into because it was elaborate. But it all worked out. And some
Good.
people didn't have place cards, and they were like, where does this person sit? And I'm like looking, of course I had like the whole thing on my phone, like in like Google Sheets. So I'm like, oh, that person, like, and then I'm like, why don't they have a place card? He's like, I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe someone picked up theirs or something. And I'm like, okay. Then someone came in who didn't RSVP, but then somebody didn't show up, so we just put them in their spot. So it all worked out.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. So
I've heard that though because I'm in like the midst of wedding guest season.
right.
And throughout all these weddings, I have heard like the genuine consensus is like it's so stressful. It's so stressful. Like you're worried about every little detail, and then the day comes and you're just like, fuck it. Like
No, literally, I dropped
fuck it,
everything
we
off.
ball.
I dropped everything off at the venue. I explained everything where I wanted everything and like made like very detailed notes about everything. And they were just like, "Oh, this is great. Well, this is no problem. Like we'll be able to put everything where it needs to be." And I was like, "All right." And we drove to the hotel and Michael and I were there. Like my dad was also there, but he was like doing his own thing. So it's just Michael and I. We just watched cartoons and went to sleep. And I was like,
Love that.
because I was like, I'm not going to think too hard about this now. Like it's in God's hands. There was nothing I could do,
Yes.
So it all worked out. And honestly, that's why I want to hear your perspective on it because I had a great time.
Sam.
I literally had such a good time.
I had the best time. That was one of my favorite weddings ever, and I may be biased because, like, it's you and Michael, so, like, obviously, I was, like, excited for it no matter what, but no, really, it was so seamless the way everything went, like, Sam had it all, like, broken down where, like, her reception was outside, not her
Ceremony was
reception, the
outside.
ceremony was outside on the water at, like, nearly sunset. The most perfect day, like temperature wise, sky wise, like you dream of that weather. So that was perfect. The ceremony itself, I told Brian, I was like, this is one of the most like heartfelt ceremonies. A lot of the ones that we've been to were like quick and fine, but like I loved, and again, I'm biased because I love you and Michael. So like hearing your whole story, like watching everything, like it was so perfect. It like just encapsulated you guys perfectly.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then the cocktail hour, which Sam wasn't there for. This is my funny story.
Okay, yeah.
So the cocktail hour, the entire thing was perfect. Like the raw bar, I think I went to 3 times. I scoured everything at least once. But again, you went right from outside, you walked around, and then you were at the downstairs of the cocktail hour. So it was perfect. Everything was right there.
Mhm.
The one thing about your cocktail hour, though, this might have been the best part of the entire wedding, was the Vinny's fresh
Oh.
mozzarella and the fresh prosciutto that was getting cut right there. We literally took his card and we went back to that table
So many
multiple
people
times.
did.
Brian was like, "Where do you go?" And it was like, "I go Maine to Miami." And
Yeah.
we were like, "We're in that range. Like
Yeah.
we are in it." That was the most genius thing ever. I loved him. For context, it was this man, I think it was Vinny, right?
His name is Vinny Mozzarella. Yes, that
Yes,
was his
yes.
name.
So Vinny is just there. He's got his own table and he is making you fresh cheese as you're just standing there. And then he has the glaze, he had the oil, he had the fresh prosciutto. Like literally, he was like, "Do you want it?" And was slicing it for you to put. I was like I could not get over it. And it was so delicious. And there was little crostinis. Oh my God, I forgot about the crostinis. There were crostinis. And I was smearing. Oh my God.
He is worth every single penny.
No, if it was just him for your entire cocktail hour, I would have been perfectly fine.
No, I have literal pictures of people holding his card
Yes.
at my wedding. They're like, everybody was telling me how much I didn't even meet him. That was the funny thing. I literally conversed with him
He was
via
so
email,
nice.
but like I messaged him like after like the next day at the wedding. Like I sent out all the like thank you emails saying like thank you for making my day so nice, whatever. And I was like, I'm so sorry I didn't get to meet you, but thank you because I ate so like they were just bringing us stuff. So I
Yes.
was just still eating everything that was downstairs. And then my dad was like, wrap it up. Whatever you don't give to people, wrap it up. So we came home with jars of cheese balls that we ate in like 2 days because we were just like,
Was it not so good?
it was delicious.
No, like I'm craving it. I'm just gonna have him like show up at my birthday party or something. Like,
Hey, should we let's be like, me and Jordyn are hanging out.
yeah,
Let's cater. And
we
he'll just
should.
come and just do it in your living room.
He should sponsor the show because we're gonna get him so much business.
I'll put his link in the bio.
Unsolicited, sponsored by Vinny Mozzarella.
The crazy thing was too, I was like, who do I make the check out to? And he was like, Vinny Mozzarella. And I was like, okay.
I love
And
him.
I had to write that on a physical check.
That is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
He was wonderful.
But no, that was absolutely fantastic. And then, like I said, seamless, perfect wedding. You went from the outside to the cocktail hour, and then you walked right up a set of stairs, and you're in the gorgeous reception room with like windows all around, looking out at the water. And I am so team DJ for what I love a good DJ. Sam, the fact that during Sam's wedding, I got to have a full moment singing Taylor Swift, The Black Parade, Mamma Mia, like it was just the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. The music is always a big thing for me too, because if you go to a wedding and the music is no good, and the thing is, I like the DJ because the band that was offered at this venue, I didn't think they were fantastic. Like when you see a band at a wedding, you need them to be like insanely good. And like this band was good, but like not worth all, because it's so much more money than a DJ.
Yeah.
So I was like, the DJ was immaculate and they were like really good with everything, like setting everything up. But I told him that specific thing at the end. I was like, I need a mashup of Mamma Mia and Love Story to end my wedding. And he delivered.
Oh, he did. That was, and also Brian got the cutest video of me and Sam dancing to You Belong With Me.
Yes.
And I cherish it. It was literally the perfect night. Also, your all the speeches, like everyone was so funny and so personable. But my favorite really was the last speech of the night, Michael's best man.
Oh, John. Yes, he I'm just pulling up some of the pictures to pull up here of you and I at the wedding. But for our visual watchers. But so John's speech was the big funny story from John's speech was that he asked Michael to put suntan lotion on his back, and like Michael did it, and he was just like, I was so appreciative to him for putting suntan lotion on my back because we brought John with us on vacation because we love John. John is like our other child.
Yes.
And then
for
John
a long
like,
time you said he was Michael's version of
you.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
The chaotic energy.
Yes. And then he had like turned around and said to Michael, like, I'll put suntan lotion on your back now. And he was like, no, I have Sam to do that. You don't. And then he was like, we need to get you a wife. I kid you not. I wish he was like exaggerating any point of that speech. It was all 100% true.
And he had the comedic time, and Brian was cracking up next to me. He's like, this is one of the best man speeches I've ever heard. Like, and like I had never met John. Like Brian really didn't know anyone there. So he was going in pretty blind and he had a great time. But like, I at least heard stories of John, but like, even if you didn't know Michael, didn't know John, that was still a great speech. They were all great.
It was so good. Here's a couple pictures of us dancing. So there's Jordyn and I dancing to something. I don't know what we're dancing to.
I don't either.
That was probably like my 1 out of 2 drinks I had that night. And then this one is just, of the three of us, is so good. Like, I don't know what you're screaming at me.
I was screaming I was just like, ah!
But then we did like some Taylor Swift, like I Think You Belong With Me came on and things like that. And then I went up to the DJ and I was like, this is the only song that I requested the entire night. And I was like, I need to hear Cruel Summer. And he was like, say less. And I was like,
the best thing was inside the reception area, there were TVs in the corner of the room, and they were showing like pictures of Michael, pictures of Sam, pictures of them together. And then I don't know how your photographer did it, but pictures of the wedding started showing. I was like, what? Like, there was a picture of me and Brian. I was like, hello?
I didn't even know that was happening.
No, it was
started happening.
But then we're dancing to Cruel Summer, having the time of our lives, and all of a sudden we look over and the Eras Tour is playing at Sam's wedding.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
Yes. Like the Eras Tour was literally shown during your reception. Like
on brand though. So on brand. Oh my God. Yeah, it was really just and the thing was too, when Cruel Summer came on, which is obviously a little bit of a deeper track for people who don't listen to Taylor Swift, and there was like everyone left the dance floor. It was a good like 10 of us women that were like, oh no, this is it. And then the bridge came on. We were just like screaming. Yeah. And then the DJ did ask me, he was like, I'm gonna end the night on like alt rock. And I was like, perfect. Yeah. And that's when he started playing Blink-182, and then he played Welcome to the Black Parade, and I didn't know he was going to play that. I didn't ask him to play that. I think it was either Blink-182 or Welcome to the Black Parade was when my strap broke.
Yep.
Which was a journey in and of itself. So my dress had this, I mean, you saw in these pictures, I have these 2 straps on my dress, and literally it shouldn't have broken.
No.
It shouldn't have. My mom and I are going to go cry in the dress shop and be like, how dare you? Because we were like, we need to get something free out of this.
Yes.
Because I was like, thankfully my dress had boning in it, so that it stayed up.
Yes.
So I didn't have to redo it. But Erin like runs over with a safety pin. One of my matrons of honor. She pins it. I like turn, I start dancing again. It pops off again. And I was like, leave it. But apparently things were happening behind the scenes. Sarah's mom went to Michael's mom and was like, I heard you have a sewing kit. Quick! Sam needs a sewing kit, like for her dress. I did not ask her for a sewing kit. Like it just happened. And there's a amazing picture of me like this, like screaming with my arms up, and Claudia just holding a sewing kit in front of my face, like, hello, do you want this? And I looked at her and I went, and then just kept on going. Cause I was like, at that point, there was like 20 minutes left of the wedding, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not spending the end of my wedding having someone sew something onto me. Like,
No.
it's not happening. So that was how I ended my night, with one strap, and all the straps to hang it up, I had cut them off because I didn't need them. So to bring my dress home, I couldn't hang it up. So I just threw it in the bag where it still is right now. I have not done anything with my dress yet.
That's hysterical.
Yeah. Very
Oh my
fun.
Oh my God. Well, no, it was overall the perfect wedding. And what I am also excited for is honeymoon stories.
Yes. So overall, we had a great time. Like, we had no
That's
flight
good.
issues, we had no transportation issues, like, getting to and from the resort. It was an all-inclusive resort in the Caribbean. Very, like, nothing crazy. We didn't do any excursions. But there was, like, 3 major things that occurred. The first one being that something happened, like, so we were on the ground floor and we had like a little pool connected to our
Yes.
room, which was a delight. Highly recommend. And then like 3 floors up, right above us, so like all their like balconies overlooked our little pool.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was. I don't know if someone left their shower on. I don't know if there was a pipe that burst or something, but there was a bunch of water that came over the side of the 4th floor balcony and was hitting down into our pool. Michael and I did not know this because also it's an all-inclusive resort. We have been drinking. We have been enjoying ourselves. We
Yes.
went back to the room to just like midday like cool off because it's hot and like you just like need to bring it down. And Michael looks outside and he goes, "Wow, good thing that we came back. It's pouring outside." And I look outside and I'm like, "Oh yeah, it is. Okay." So we sat down, we were like, let's watch like an episode of something on TV, like we'll wait for it to pass and then we'll go back out. And we look out and it's like dribbling a little bit and we're like, "Oh, okay, let's look outside." So we walk outside and we look up and it wasn't raining. It was the water pouring over the side of this person's balcony, hitting into our pool. So there was like sediment and like pieces of balcony all over our floor. And like we were like, "What?" And at some point too, someone knocked on our door and they were like, "Are you experiencing any flooding?" And we were like, "From the rain? No." And they were like, "No." And
No.
we were like, "No, we're not experiencing any flooding." And they were like, "Okay." And he was like,
Call them back and be like, you were actually correct. We were in fact experiencing flooding.
so the funny thing was that I opened our front door. We were in a sandals, and there's like 12 sandals workers, like just standing outside our door. And we're like, "Hello?" And they're like, "Hello. Do you need help?" And we were like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And then they walked in. Also, I should mention that this resort only opened up like in March, like 3 months
Oh, so
ago.
brand new.
Brand new. A lot of kinks are still getting worked out.
Okay.
Like, but the thing was we booked here because we got a huge discount on the room because it was so new.
Yeah.
Which was nice. So we still had a good time. But these people come in and they like look at all this sediment all over the floor and they're like, "Okay, what would you like us to do?" And I was like, "Clean it."
Get rid of it.
Yeah, like please, whatever. And then they were like, and then we were also still in the room because also then eventually it did start to rain for real. So we're still in the room and they were just like, "So would you like us to turn your room over, like do like a midday service?" And I was like, "No, we're in here. We don't
Yeah.
want you like I was like, "We'll be gone at dinner time and we'll put the little service button on." And she was like, "Oh, okay." Like everyone was like so confused all the time. And I was like, Okay. So that was the one major thing. The second major thing was that we paid extra for a candlelight dinner on the beach that got rained out midway through the dinner. It rained a lot here. It was crazy. So we were on the beach. It was like a four-course meal. Through like after meal 2, it started pouring rain. The waiter's nowhere to be found. We start walking over to like anything with like a, you know, to be under. Then
Yeah.
he walks over. Then he seats us down in this empty closed restaurant, and then we don't see him for like 45 minutes. And we're like, "Hello?" Like we don't have any drinks. We don't have anything with us. And so finally I found somebody and I was like, "Can someone find our waiter?" Like, and then he came back, but then I was like, "Can we go back to our seat, like on the beach? Because it stopped raining." He goes, "No, it's wet." And I was like, "I've seen tons of towels here.
Yeah,
You
can
know, we
we
could do like a quick wipe down." No, no. So he served us in this empty restaurant, and it was like bizarre. And then we asked, so we got like a bottle of prosecco with the dinner, and we were like, "Can we please have some more prosecco?" And he was like, "Well, your bottle's empty." And I'm like, "Yeah, but this is an
all
all-inclusive
inclusive,
resort, so you
yeah.
can go to a bar and go get us a drink." Like I was like, "Really?" Like just
It definitely just sounds like they're just not trained enough yet.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So then I went back and I hate to be a complainer, but I'm like, we spent money on that, so it was like
100%.
so I went to, like, the little lobby, whatever, and I hate to be this person, but, like, we did not have a good experience and blah, 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 whatever. So they gave us a free candlelight dinner with, like, a different menu that we didn't have to pay for from, like, one of the restaurants that, like, includes everything, and it was so windy that day on the beach that glasses had fallen over and crashed all over our like, plates. And so we were like, "The universe is telling us to get the fuck off this beach." Yeah, so that was a whole thing. And then the third thing that happened was that we left Wednesday morning. Monday night, Michael starts to feel sick. And obviously we had been drinking, like this is no, crazy thing, but like we were matching each other. So like I felt fine,
Yeah.
but he did not feel fine. And I was like, this can't be him drinking cuz like if I'm not throwing up, why is
Then
he throwing up?
yeah.
Like I was like, "What?" He throws up, like, all through the night. He wakes up the next
What?
morning, still throwing up. I find him so, like, we had, like, a little media room connected to our like, in our room, and I found him there the next morning, like, wrapped in a blanket, but, like, shirtless, sweating, but freezing, and I'm like, "Oh god." I'm like, "Oh god, he has food poisoning, like, this is bad because 'cause we're leaving the next day." So Tuesday was the one day that we had planned to go do an excursion, which was snorkeling in, like, the afternoon. So I'm like, "Okay, how are you feeling? Like, can I get you anything?" I tried to get him to eat, he couldn't eat. So we went to the nurses station that they have at the resort, and they gave him some sort of injection to, like, basically keep everything down because they couldn't give him a pill because he would've
Throwing it
thrown it
up.
up. And so they put it in whoa, I just hit my mic. They put it into his, like, bloodstream so that it, like, effectively got to what he needed, and then he felt fine. Then we went snorkeling.
I literally Sam posted a photo of Michael. I think it was on a private story. A
Yes,
photo of Michael, like,
I'm
in a
sweating.
hospital gown or a doctor's gown, laying on the
Just
nurse's
laying on the thing, yeah.
and then I was like, "What?" So then I go to Next, and they're on a boat, and he's, like, in a and I was like, "What happened?" Like
Well, so I asked him, I was like, "Are you gonna be okay to go on a boat? Like, this is not gonna be easy for you." And he was just like, I don't know, like, well, he's like, "I hate to be the reason we don't do, like, the one excursion that we wanted to do." So I was like, "Okay, like, just relax." So he ended up taking a nap, and I just went outside to our pool to, like, tan and read and, like, whatever. So, like,
Yeah.
an hour and a half had gone by, I woke him up, and at this point, I just made an executive decision. I was like, "We're going snorkeling." And he was like, "Okay." And he, like, gets up, we, like, hobble over to the beach to go on the boat, and then we get on the boat, he's completely fine.
Yay! Oh my god, I'm so and then traveling home, everything was fine?
We get yeah, then my mom picks us up from the airport. Then whatever they gave him the day before had worn off. So then he started to feel ill in the car on the way home. But at that point, we were
You
already
were
on our way
home.
home. So he
Yeah.
was fine. But yeah, so those were, like, the 3 major things that happened, but otherwise, we just, like, sat around and drank and ate and laid down and went in the pool and went to the beach. Oh, and then one more thing happened. We went into this little floaty thing at the beach, and a sea eel or something got in it with us, and we screamed and jumped, and everyone thought we had seen a shark or something.
Oh my God, I was honestly a little nervous because I feel like leading up and while you guys were there, I was seeing on my TikTok, I don't know why I get all this. There was like shark attack after shark attack. I don't think it was near you. It was like Panama and Florida. But then, is that
Kind
near
of.
you? Yeah, no, there were sharks like full on attacking people. And then I saw 3 people went missing somewhere in the ocean in a rip current or rip tide. And I was like, why is the ocean so angry right now? And then I go look at Sam's stories and they're like, da, 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 like jumping in and out of their pool. And I was like, they're fine. They're
Yeah.
good.
No, good. And the snorkeling thing that we did was like an hour. But actually we were snorkeling and we saw a snake in the water, and the guy was like, everybody come this way. And we were like, no problem. And then there were all these little jellyfish that were like, didn't have any tentacles. So he was like, they don't sting you. They're just the jelly part of the jellyfish. And then we're like swimming along, and then we see like a brown one. And he goes, actually, don't touch that one. That one will sting you. So like, don't touch it. And we were like, say less, my dude.
Perfect.
But yeah, but overall, it was a journey, and we did it though.
You did it.
We did it, and it was a lot of fun. And then we like did like adult things when we got back, like opened a savings account and like a joint checking account, because I have like a person that's connected to me forever. That's pretty cool.
Terrifying.
Incredibly. Especially with money.
That's insane.
No, but yeah, but we're like people.
You're people.
Yeah.
You did it. You're a wife.
I'm a wife.
How's it?
I'm a whole wife.
Are you so happy to be out of the fiance stage? I mean, I'm
Yes.
pretty sure we talked about it on the podcast before. Well, just like the term fiance, I just think is intimidating in and of itself.
No, I literally am so happy.
Yeah.
I'm so freaking happy. And like when we were at this little nurse's station, and like Michael was like, he like could barely talk. Like he was like, I can't answer any of these questions.
Sad.
And the lady looks at me and she goes, so you're his wife, right? You can answer his medical questions. And I was like, huh? Whoa. Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Like, is he allergic to anything? And I was like, no. And then I'm like, are you allergic to anything? And he was like, no. And I was like, no, he's not allergic to anything. It was like married, single, divorced on the thing, and they like circled married, and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy.
I'm still in training. Like you're taking the wheels off way too fast.
Like less than a week. Like, come on. Okay. Or like just about a week it had been. I was like, whoa. But then yeah, we've been walking around and Michael's just like, oh yeah, me and my wife, me and my wife, me and my wife, me and my wife. And I'm like, you say it so elegantly, so easy.
Yeah.
I'm like, me and my husband? And I'm like, yeah, that's my husband. I have a husband.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah. But yeah, first 30 minutes of this show, screw you guys if you didn't care about my wedding, because you're talking about
If they listen to the show, they should absolutely care about your wedding.
I think so. I realized I didn't even make like any banners or anything here, so
I was like, I'm just gonna let her talk because I couldn't remember what else we put on the agenda.
I'm adding them now.
Okay. She'll segue eventually, and then I'll catch on.
So we'll segue into this first thing because it's the one thing that Jordyn did message me about while I was on my honeymoon, and it was the whole everything going on with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Sam was totally on her honeymoon, and I just text her, Travis is on stage.
And then I showed Michael this because then I like stopped everything, and he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, Travis Kelce is on stage with Taylor Swift right now. And he was like, oh, they're getting married for sure. And I was like, we love this for her. We love this for her.
No, that was one of the most insane moments I've experienced in a while. And I even found out I'm usually behind on that kind of shit. Like someone will usually send it to me first. And was it the day? I don't even think you were on your honeymoon yet. Was it the day after your wedding?
No, I was on my honeymoon.
You were? Okay.
Yeah.
It was shortly after. I was in the car with Brian. We were going somewhere. And I'm in the passenger seat. I just opened up Twitter and I saw it. And I was just like, what? And I just saw the text first and I saw a video attached. So I thought it was going to be like a joke. And then I was like, no, he is full on performing on the Eras Tour in London.
Yeah,
Like,
literally. And so my cousin Andrew and his wife Kristen went to the show before. Literally, they missed it by one day. But
but she got such good surprise songs.
she got Castles Crumbling
Yep.
with Hayley Williams, and it was a mix between Thank You Amy and Mean.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I messaged her too, and I was like, Castles Crumbling? And I was like, oh my god. I was so jealous because I freaking
And also just the fact that she got to see the Tortured Poets set, which I probably won't be able to do. So like, hop off, girl. I literally I actually replied to one of her stories and I was like, I am so happy for you.
Yeah. No, but they missed it by like one day and I was like, oh my god. But yeah, I know that we've said this in the past. No other man has done this for her. No other man. And he surprised her like the other day in Dublin, right?
Yes.
He like showed up halfway through the show and she like saw him during the folklore set or whatever. And she was like, oh my god, that's my boyfriend.
No, literally. And then it was so cute because everyone was pulling up clips of her performing for like, and not that she's ever off, but like you could just see like how happy and bouncy and in love she was. And it was just like, oh my god, like the fact that like he goes, like she is at the end of the day, just a girl who got surprised by her boyfriend. And I just feel like she hasn't gotten moments like that in so long, especially like being with Joe. Like he was very, and this isn't even a diss, this is just a fact. He was very against the public light on their relationship. Like they were out in ski masks and running from the paparazzi. So the fact that like Travis just like makes her feel normal and like does these like cute little things for her, I just think it's so sweet and I love it. I'm so happy she's happy.
I know. And obviously like he's going like above and beyond any boyfriend that she's had in terms of like being in the spotlight and like all that stuff. And then he did say, I think he was on Bussin' with the Boys.
I was just about to ask you if you saw that.
Yes, and he said, he was like, yeah, some things are private. Like we keep a lot of our life private actually, but doesn't mean you have to keep everything private. And I was like, oh, Travis, oh, go down here with that gun.
That's my lady. I'm proud of that. He talked about her for 10 straight minutes.
Because who wouldn't? If I was Travis Kelce, I'd be talking about her nonstop too.
We have never met Taylor Swift. She takes up half of every episode at least. Like
every time. And like he literally lives with her.
Yep.
Did you see the thing where they like that black corduroy hat that he was wearing is her hat?
Yep.
And like they were like, oh yeah, he must have just like stopped at their house in LA and like picked it up and like put it on. And I'm like, to live in the same space as Taylor Swift and to put on a hat that just like you just find on the counter that's just hers. Like, are you kidding? They're so perfect. I hope they get married. I really hope that this doesn't like just like fall apart at the seams.
I genuinely don't think it will. Like they just match each other. Like they just seem like soulmates to me. Like
they're so wonderful. And he's just so in love with her too. Like to this day, he's still like vibing to every song at the concerts, like that he's seen how many times? Like 10, 15 times now. Like he's just like love it.
Also, did you see the clip of Jason Kelce getting emotional talking about the Eras Tour?
No.
It was on the New Heights podcast after Jason and Kylie went, and Jason was just like, I've never really gotten choked up at a concert before. He was like, but the 22 hat and like watching how special that was, he was like, I'm gonna get choked up talking about it now. Like,
oh my god,
it was just so like the whole thing is so wholesome and so sweet. I love everything about it.
Jason Kelce is such a water sign. It's unreal.
So is.
He is
such a girl dad.
Oh my god.
Him walking around the Eras Tour with friendship bracelets up to his elbows, carrying a beer in his mouth as he's walking. Like,
yeah. And like, I think there's like clips of him like showing Kylie. Like, he's like, yeah, look at my bracelets.
And he's like, yeah. We have to talk about it.
Okay.
The fact you've all heard me say it on this podcast multiple times. We all know how important the black dog is to me. And I would die for Jason Kelce, but I will never forgive the fact that he got to hear it live, and I probably never will. So I just have to live with that my center, my longtime center, got to hear the Black Dog live in London.
I'm literally pulling up. That was one of the other things that Jordyn texted me about.
Yeah. Sam's on her honeymoon. I'm
Okay.
only talking about Taylor Swift.
First thing that we texted on my honeymoon, I texted her President Snow died. Which R.I.P. Donald Sutherland. But she goes, I know. That was it. That was the entire conversation.
Yeah.
Jason Kelce got to hear the Black Dog live, and I didn't. And I said, yo, what the fuck is that about? That entire surprise set was sent to us as torture. And you said, torture. I am now the tortured poet after last night. This is what she meant the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, no, there's just small little blurbs of things that Jordyn and I texted about while I was on my honeymoon.
We would send no more than 3 or 4 messages at a time.
Yeah, it was 4 was the max.
Yeah.
And then it was okay, we're done. Because it was just, but you were keeping me updated because I really wasn't on my phone.
Yes.
So I probably wouldn't have seen the Taylor Travis on stage thing for at least a day or two. Because I really was normally you get into bed and you watch TikTok and whatever. I literally got into bed and went to sleep like a regular.
No, I was the same way on vacation.
No, it's exhausting to be relaxing.
The only thing that was so funny about when I was at my all-inclusive was there was a huge primetime Eagles game. First time we were wearing Kelly Green against the Dolphins. Thank God the resort we were at had a little sports bar area, which was fantastic. So we went and watched that Eagles game. So we were all up, and luckily, Brian's whole fam is diehard Philly fans. So it's not I had to convince or beg, they would have done it anyway. And then also the Phillies were in the World Series at the same time.
Yeah.
We spent we were in the pool all day and then in the sports bar all night. But it was perfect.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, this place, if there was football on, I wouldn't have been able to watch it. There was not really a place to watch
You
TV.
picked a perfect time to go, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why we got married in June. Michael wanted to get married in September, which I was because our dating anniversary is September 14th, and September 14th falls on a Saturday this year. So he was we should get married on our anniversary. And I was that's a great idea. The only issue is it'll be football season. And then at that point too, I was it's not even just the fact that I want to watch football. It has to be a job. And he was oh, this is so dumb. And then we had it in June and he was okay, this is nice too. And I was yeah. So now we have 2 anniversaries.
Yes. Oh, that's one thing as a now married person. What do you do with the first one? I was just talking about that. I was does it just evaporate? When do you stop celebrating it?
I think Michael and I said our new main anniversary is going to be our wedding anniversary. But we'll probably still do so. We won't do anything crazy, but maybe we'll just go out to dinner or something on our anniversary because we've been celebrating that anniversary for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's feels weird to not celebrate it. Just to pass over it. So we'll still do a little something, but our main anniversary will be our wedding anniversary.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's just there's gonna be so many dates. There's gonna be birthdays and children and all that good stuff at some point. Not yet. I'm not having a kid yet, but I do want one though. I literally after we got married, I was we could get pregnant right now, and no one would say anything.
Yeah. No.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It feels weird because I could just be pregnant and then they'd just be well, you're married, so it's okay. It probably would have been okay before too, but I don't know. It's just weird.
It is. No, it's crazy.
I hear Michael's emerging.
Michael's gonna be are we having a baby?
He's looking at me with his arms crossed right now. We are not having a baby. Not right now. But anyway, speaking more of Taylor and Travis, they are just a perfect couple. And I'm going to segue into something that is not a perfect couple.
Thank you I literally had that segue ready to go, and I'm so glad you picked up on it. This story is fucking insane.
I'm so glad that we are on the same page with this because the reason why It is bananas because not only is this just a banana story, but it affected Kyle Filipowski's draft
Yes.
because he dropped out of the first round of the
Yeah.
of the NBA draft. Kyle Filipowski is who we're about to talk about. Kyle Filipowski just got drafted in the NBA draft. Is a first round talent, but got drafted, I guess, in the second round.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Anyways, but the reason why he dropped was because he is a 20-year-old guy who is currently dating a 26-year-old woman. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it's really not too weird, right? Like, it's not the end of the world. There's an age difference there, but nothing crazy. But like, this is gonna stem back at least 6 years,
Yep.
which puts Kyle at 14,
Yep.
which puts her at 20.
To put it in perspective, now I'm gonna forget it. It was like she graduated college like 6 years before his senior prom.
Mm-hmm.
And she went to his senior prom as his date.
That just keeps blowing my mind.
I can't even picture, like, even if I was like a freshman in college, I would feel weird unless, no, I guess that's bad. Like, if you're an upperclassman in college,
Okay.
you don't go to a senior prom.
No. Because also, think about the fact you are a 26-year-old woman right now. What would you do if you went to a senior prom today?
I would go to the authorities
and turn myself in.
Yeah, because I am a child predator.
Yeah. No, so like
I'm not.
Jordyn is not a child predator. But I watched like this like 3-part TikTok about this too. And actually, no, I read an article.
We read an article.
But I watched a TikTok of Kyle Filipowski's like this whole thing. And it's alleged, it is not confirmed, but there is a rumor that they're cousins.
Yes.
And it stems back to this picture of the two of them when he's 14 and she's 20. And the guy who posted the picture has the same last name as her, I think. And then there's like some sort of like family caption with it. So it's
it was like, oh, I haven't gotten to hang out with my cousins in so long. It was so good to catch up with all of you. Yeah, I've heard both stories. I've heard that she was his babysitter, which like
I've heard that too.
Both are disgusting. Like, I don't know which is worse. Probably the cousin if there's actual bloodlines involved.
Yeah, but still, babysitter's not much better than that, to be
Right?
honest.
Like, both super icky. But yeah, so this story was all coming out, and like, obviously things get fabricated and exaggerated and all this kind of stuff. But then I saw the tweets from his mother and his brother. He cut off his entire family for this girl, converted to being Mormon because she's Mormon. The night of the draft, his mom, his brother are going off on Twitter, confirming all of this, but they did not say whether she was family or not, which makes me think she's not, but I don't know. Maybe they're trying to protect that part. Maybe they don't want to do them too dirty. I don't know. But super, super weird. And then ironically enough, he's drafted by the Utah Jazz, and Utah is just like notorious for being like a very Mormon state.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, perfect. You check all our boxes.
That's probably the only team that would take him.
100%, because it's weird. And the fact that they all knew about this, and like, it's literally because talent-wise, he's got it, but like, it's a really, really uncomfy situation. And I'm very curious to see like how it unfolds. Like, now that he's going to be in the NBA, it's everywhere. He's going to get media attention. Like, how are they going? They're engaged now. Like, it's disgusting. Like, how are they going to navigate this? I'm very curious to see how it all goes down.
Yeah, there's a lot of grooming here. There's a lot of inappropriate things going on. I hope all is okay. I hope
you too.
I like really like genuinely like Kyle, like being 20 years old, you think you know everything. You like know absolutely nothing. Like, it is like he could think that he has everything in order now that he's in the NBA and he's engaged to this woman and this, like, I really hope everything works out for him, genuinely. But like this whole situation is, I'm glad that people are talking about it and
Me
they're not like sweeping it under the rug because it's a
because
big deal.
especially, I feel like if it was vice versa, if it was a man doing this to a woman, he would already be in jail. It would be a huge no-no. But I feel like with young men or young boys, because like he was literally a child when all of this
Mhm.
started, they never get like the respect. Like if anything, it's like not encouraged, but it's like, oh, you're a dog kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like older women, like, and it's
Yeah.
not like it's just as much of a crime, like as if it was the other way around. So I'm really glad that people are acknowledging that. And yeah, like you said, you already said it best. I hope he's okay. Like I
Yeah.
hope all is well because that's scary. It's a scary situation to be in.
Nothing else anyone can do really,
No.
except for him. Because
Yeah,
also
just
at
like
this point he's a legal adult. He can do
yeah,
what he wants.
he put
But
a ring on her finger.
oh god, there's gonna be a baby. I can feel it. There's gonna be a baby coming, and then he's gonna get caught in it forever. But anyways, that's the whole Kyle Filipowski thing, which is what a sports journey. And football season's coming up, baby.
I know.
It's coming. We're in July. OTAs are gonna start. Camp. Hard Knocks comes on. The Giants are on Hard Knocks right now. Well, what time is it? 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday. They come on at 9. I'm very excited
Yep.
because I'm gonna assess the team from this HBO miniseries. I'm going to go into September feeling either really good or really bad or sad. I don't know, but that's how we're gonna assess the rest of the season.
I'm nervous because Hard Knocks, I mean, obviously, this is literally the point of Hard Knocks to show you behind the scenes and to show you personalities. Like, I always get so attached to players from Hard Knocks to the point I have not yet watched a single episode of the Dallas Cowboys season.
Don't. It's horrible.
I was like, I don't want to like any of you. Like, I'm perfectly fine with my disgust for this team. I don't want any soft spots. Like, no, that's why I refuse to watch it. But I'm gonna watch the Giants. I'm like, you guys are rivals too, so I'm just scared. I'm gonna like someone, and I'm gonna be like,
Daniel
damn, I don't want to root
Jones.
for you.
Everyone's gonna be like, "Wow, everybody likes Daniel Jones again."
They're finally gonna realize that he's not on drugs. You remember when that happened a couple? I was like, shut up. Like, Daniel Jones is not popping pills. Like
It's outrageous. It is outrageous.
this was a really boring off season,
Yeah,
and we're clinging on to anything, clearly.
literally anything. They're like Zach Wilson grew his hair out.
Yeah. He did get engaged.
Congrats. So did Jordan Love.
Yes.
Jordan Love got
He did.
engaged. Anybody else get engaged? This is like the time for them to get engaged. Did you see the pictures from Olivia
Yeah,
Cuplo?
I was gonna
And
say the royal wedding. Absolutely.
I honestly, always will respect, as a person who's now been a bride, I'll always respect how people do their weddings, and they had a beautiful wedding. I don't know how I felt about her dress. It was
I
very simple and like, I don't know. I was expecting something different. Maybe that's what it was because it still
yeah.
looked gorgeous on her, but like I was expecting something different.
I liked it was definitely a choice. I love that like simple classical, like she just looked like a princess. And I was so not expecting that vibe from her. Like I
Me
was
too.
expecting something a little showy, a little glitzy. And I just thought it was really classic and really elegant. And I mean, she wears everything so well. I also feel like it fit the vibe of their venue, like
It did.
everything kind of connected. So I just love them.
Yeah. I mean, Christian looked good too.
Yeah.
Everything, the venue was gorgeous. I'm seeing pictures though. I don't know if you know who this is, but I've been following him for a long time. His name is Nicky Cass, and
No.
he does a lot of New York slash New Jersey skits of like dads and stuff like that.
Maybe
And
I've seen him, but I don't know the name.
very heavily Italian kid with blonde hair. And he like goes around, he puts like a pillow up his shirt to like make it look like he has like a beer belly. He like pretends to be a dad or he does like, this is a contractor working on your gutter. Anyways, I've been following him for so long because connect with his content because it's very true. And he was at their wedding. And I'm like, how the fuck did Nikki Cass end up at the Cuplo McCaffrey wedding? Like, I'm like, I need to see this guest list. I need to see who else was there because it was so random to see this guy that I've never even like, like those people on the internet that like you just know them from the internet and you don't see them anywhere else.
Yes.
Like that's how I felt. And I was like, I'm seeing him in an atmosphere that is not the internet. And it was very strange.
No, especially like crossing over into that world too.
It's so, in like the most random world.
Yeah.
Of a model and a football player getting married. Like
crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, I would just love to see the guest list for that and see who else was at that wedding.
No,
but if we're good on that, we can start wrapping it up with a little 4th of July chat since it's the week of the 4th of July.
Yes.
So, what do you usually do for the 4th of July? Because I think my plans change every single year, but some people do the same thing every year.
So my actual 4th of July plans vary. Like I'm either at a pool, at the beach, doing something. But why I love the 4th of July, my dad's birthday is July 5th. So we always celebrate. And I have a really cute story because obviously 4th of July fireworks, it's like a big thing. When I was a kid, my dad would always be like, oh, like our 4th of July barbecue, wherever we were at, we'd be like, oh, like we're just celebrating my dad's birthday at the barbecue. So like I always just associated like, oh, it's just dad's birthday. Like I didn't put together 4th of July, whatever. He always wears a white t-shirt and then just an American flag tie on top of a white t-shirt. Like that's his thing.
Cute.
I got the tie for him when I was really young. But I used to think as a kid that the fireworks were for my dad's birthday and everyone gathered to watch for him. And I had no idea. And then I started getting older and I was like, oh, but now it's like the running joke. Like he thought it was the cutest thing in the world. Like he dragged it out for as long as he could. Like, yeah, of course. It's for my birthday. Like he just loved that I thought that. But yeah, so the 4th of July is always
That's actually so cute though. I love that. Well, the funny thing with the 4th of July, and my dad watches this, so hi Dad, if you've made it to the end of the episode, he will deny this, but my birthday's next week on the 9th, and I could have been born though on the 4th of July, and there was a small percentage, I don't think my mom would have let it happen, either that or she held out for 5 days to make sure it didn't happen for sure. There was a slight chance that if I was born on the 4th of July, I may or may not have been named Liberty. Possibly. My dad will deny it. I think it was like a hot second of a thought. And I was like, could you imagine like me walking around and they were like, hey, Libby. They didn't like, no. Or that or like Justice. Or that was the other one. That
Liberty and Justice for all.
Exactly. And my dad would be like, no, it wasn't actually going to happen. Or was it? But then I came out 5 days later.
That's it. Your mom was probably, the 4th of July probably passed. And your mom was like, thank God.
Yeah. She was like holding on to me like, oh God.
Thank you, Liberty.
And now here I am as a Samantha.
Sam.
But real quick, what's your favorite thing to eat on the 4th of July?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs. Great.
I love a good hot dog on a potato bun.
Potato buns are the only way to go.
Only way to go.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your go-to?
Hamburger, I guess. Cheeseburger.
I was going to say, you don't put cheese on it?
Yeah, no cheeseburger. If I say hamburger, it just means hamburger with cheese.
Okay.
Cheeseburger.
Awesome. Do you do lettuce, tomato, onion? No tomato.
No, I just put ketchup on it.
Valid.
I just, at that point, I'm like, I can't even put do you ever realize like on like holidays where you like barbecue and stuff, you're like so hungry?
Yes.
And you're like, it comes out and you're just like, I just need to put this in my body right now. Yes. Like that's how I feel. And this 4th of July, we are having a little barbecue in our backyard, which is our first like event as husband and wife. And it all comes full circle.
What a way to end the show. And guys, we are so excited to have him back with you. We miss you so much. If you like this episode, make sure to give us a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. And if you don't already, make sure to follow us on all of our socials at the Unsolicited_podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads, and at Sam and Jordyn on Twitter. You can also find us wherever you get your audio platforms, and we are so back, baby.
Oh, you didn't even stumble over any of those. We're so back, baby.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.